It's Nolan. Diamond on the grind since my spit. Putting all my time in the right way. Money coming back right straight.
I hear you.
Niggas don't know what my life take. That's why you looking at me all sideways. Bringing in cash, least 5 ways. Living every day like it's Friday. Hold up now. Far from a talent, I was brought up on the Bible. Mama kept a Brandis on the side like a rifle. Float through the water, need a royalty for title. Wrestle with the hater, lemonade, Roddy Piper. Wait, I was in the studio pulling all night. You was at the block party dancing like Mike. I was on the go for the green light, taking down mics and I'm a wrist. I ain't talking all Friday like whoa. Monopoly money cover the drawer. Running up the score, putting numbers on the board. Never let a dollar go, hopping on the whore. Banging on the boat, finna send it all short. Yeah, why you count mine? I ain't eating off yours. Put it in the ceiling of the walls of the floor. Well, they ain't half put my name on scores. I ain't gotta chase fame, get the cash straight for it. No count. Only can focus on C-notes. Die like I'm Vito. Pour up the vino. Roll out the carpet, get more like casino. Tell me the price, I say no necesito. Got it on tape, posted up like it's Vivo. Trap out my house with my pen, but it's legal. I sweep my girl off her feet like torpedo. She order mojitos, you push super keto. Grind since 9th grade. Started on the grind since MySpace. Putting on my time in the right way. Money coming back when you fly straight. Niggas don't know what my life take. That's why you looking at me all sideways. Bringing in cash these 5 ways. Living every day like it's Friday.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the Kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. If you enjoyed that intro, that song is called Friday. It's from my Southside Nolan album. It's available on all streaming platforms. You can also get it from my website, realjnolan.com, from the Southside Nolan album. All right. So in today's video, we're going to be getting into Drake. Now, there's been a lot of conversation around Drake, a lot of debate about his pre-trial motions, we'll call him. He's set 2 forth in one in New York, one in Texas. Both of them are centered around UMG, which is Universal Music Group. The one in New York, of course, is between himself, UMG, and Spotify. The other is between himself, UMG, and iHeartRadio. And today, I kind of want to touch on the Spotify UMG thing because Mal from the Rory and Mal podcast, he made his way up to Earn Your Leisure, and he's claiming that this legal action that Drake is taking against UMG in particular is way bigger than the battle with Kendrick. It's way bigger than anything that we're currently seeing. He feels like the issue is between Drake and Lucian Grange at Universal. He's the CEO of the company, by the way. And he's alleging that Drake's issue could possibly be worth $2 billion that he could potentially be owed. Now, I don't think Drake is owed $2 billion. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Has he made the company $2 billion? I'm not going to put it past him. He's been a very profitable artist for the label for 15 years. I don't doubt that. I also find it strange that Drake, with his legal action, is specifically aiming at Not Like Us as the reason that he's being financially shorted or being financially roadblocked from getting the money that he receives. And I also find it very interesting that he believes coming to the table in a negotiation entitles him to a certain amount of money when a negotiation is simply about you put your hand on the table, I put my hand on the table, and we figure out what that's going to be, even if that means we go our separate ways. If you ain't talking about what I want to hear, you have the option to leave. But I do want to hear out what Mal is talking about. We're going to also play some footage from My Expert Opinion, Math Hoffa's podcast. Miss Kim Osorio had some interesting perspectives up there. If you don't know who Kim Osorio is, she is also a journalist. I believe she was at The Source. I think she's done a lot of other things in hip hop as well, but she was mostly known as one of the senior editors at The Source once upon a time. She's deeply ingrained in hip hop. She was one of those people that could give you a 5 mic rating back in the day. If y'all remember 5 mics in The Source being a thing, once upon a time they changed it to 4 mics, whatever. But I do find it very interesting, and I'm not actually mad that people from that era that didn't show their face so much. I think she was involved with Double XL at one point as well. But they're coming out showing face and still finding some type of way to be relevant, even like a Elliot Wilson. I don't always agree with everything he does or says, but I do think it's dope that the journalists from that time period who maybe, you know, didn't get as much facial recognition or accolades as like the new media of today are finding ways to still be relevant, be in the conversation, and offer their perspective. So we're going to play some of that as well, because they believe if it were not Drake coming out with these allegations against Universal as a label, if he wasn't going head to head with Kendrick Lamar, and if he was just an artist with a clean slate going against the system, they do believe that this will be perceived way differently than everybody that's calling him a sped or a snitch or something to that effect. Again, I don't necessarily agree, but I do want to hear out their talking points, and I want to address some of their talking points as well. All right. So first, let's get into Mal.
I think Drake is going to ask for something that no artist has ever asked for or received, and it's going to be very interesting to see if he receives that.
As far as money,
as far as compensation for damages,
on the lawsuit side,
absolutely. We talking upwards of $2 billion.
$2 billion.
He gonna ask for a big three. Okay,
absolutely.
I'm gonna ask for a big three.
Well, if he gets look at that point, fuck public perception. It's been real. It's been real.
I'm just saying at that point, I don't give a fuck what Black Twitter is talking about. I don't give a fuck what Black Twitter is talking about. I don't care what the barbershops are talking about. Yep. If I just sue Universal for $2 billion in my masters and I won, I'm just looking at it like people have to stop being so surface with the shit and saying, oh, Drake is mad that he lost. Just take the L. Cool. Y'all are talking about a rap battle. This is not the URL. We're talking about the
business battle. Yes.
Not URL. No disrespect to URL and smacking all them. Those are my, I support those guys. But this isn't that. This isn't a rap battle. This is Drake versus Universal Music Group. For anybody that doesn't understand what that is,
financing both sides of the war.
They're financing both sides of the war, and they're in business with the streaming platforms.
Yes.
So people got to pay attention. Let's speak to that. Whoever you feel like won the rap battle, bro, salute. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to argue that. That's subjective shit. Cool. If you feel like Kendrick won, yo, salute. Kendrick is dope. Nobody's ever denying. You can't find me nowhere saying Kendrick is not a dope MC. Yeah. You can't find it. I'm not stupid. He's one of the illest. I'm talking about now. This is away from that.
Yeah.
This is not a battle. This is a war that's about to happen.
That's a fact.
And I think that's what I want people to start talking about online. Okay, cool. If you feel like Drake is calling the cops and he's snitching and he's mad that he lost, all right, great. That's how you feel, great. What else though? This is what I'm saying. So we got to start looking at that part of it. Like we like talking about this boss and ownership and, doing this. And okay, what I think Drake is doing is one of the biggest boss moves ever. He's directly petitioning for the biggest boss in the music business to come to the table and explain to me what exactly did y'all do on the business side of this. I need to see all of it.
So as y'all can see here, Mal is arguing that Drake is not worried about public perception. He's saying that Drake feels like, fuck what y'all talking about. I'm going to war with the music industry. And I find it very interesting that this is the time that he chose to take on this martyr position. Excuse me. And I say martyr position because I've seen some people online trying to portray him just as that. Now, what I find interesting is when Kanye tried to do this, you understand what I'm saying? Kanye, he knew he wasn't going to get out of the situation, which is why he started taking the anti-Semitic route. He knew if I start going hard at the Jewish powers that be, they're going to distance themselves from me, which will ultimately make them let me out my deals and my contracts and whatever else is on that paper. They're going to let me go. I do believe that that's what Kanye's ultimate plan was, and he made himself look crazy in the process. But I think that was the psychology behind it to a degree. I don't know everything that Kanye was thinking, but I find it very interesting that in the midst of Kanye doing that, Drake was so consumed in trying to take Kanye out, because if you listen to Drake's last 3-4 albums, he's swinging at Kanye endlessly, right? So much so at the onset of the battle, Like That is out there, Kanye jumped out and said that Drake had a rich baby daddy in Lucian Grange. And he's like, he feels like as long as he's comfortably with Lucian, everything is good, because he could go back to his rich baby daddy and they're going to give him some more money and it's going to be all great. So all gravy, right? So when other artists in the industry have come out and complained about their financial status being taken advantage of, or even a Kanye who was trying to go head to head with multiple industries, we didn't see Drake change up the formula not one bit. We didn't see Drake complain. We didn't see Drake supporting nobody's mission. And so many people have come out and had positions against the industry. We haven't seen him take none of that. What we did see him take was a approximately $500 million deal that he was happy to rap about, happy to talk about, happy to brag about niggas in their face and say 300 is a low ball and all of this different type of stuff. Now, all of a sudden, 2 years later, it's a $2 billion play. They're lowballing me. They're using Kendrick Lamar as I don't even know what he's trying to say. They're using Kendrick Lamar as, like, basically saying that they're using him as the new face of the company. That's what I believe. He's the new face of the company. He's the new cash king over here. And because he took you out, you're looking a little shaky in the streets. So we're not going to give you what you think you deserve, which is not illegal. That is not against the law. Drake has received every benefit in the motherfucking kitchen sink for 15 years. And all of a sudden, when another artist gets a glimpse of what's available to him and he doesn't, or he doesn't get the same treatment, now he wants to throw his towel in, take his ball, go home, and try to blow up the music industry. Nah, that's not respectable, fam. We're not rolling with that. And you don't gotta care if the people are rolling with that, but just understand, coming back to this hip hop, if you respected it, you understand there's no coming back from here. Because perception wise, especially when you throw your competitor, the man you just got out of a battle with, the nigga you thought you were going to win the popular vote against, beats you. Now you want to put the call in and try to audit everybody and try to make it seem like there was some sort, like he couldn't beat you on his own. That's what it really is. He could not beat me on his own. There's no possible way that he had a song this popular without there being some sort of foul play involved. And that's what the Drake fans out here are allowing themselves to believe and follow behind, when this nigga never gave you nothing to follow behind in this sort of nature ever before in his life. Nah, dog, that's not how we play. So that's Mal. Let's get to Rory, because he came out here and he did like a PSA style video talking about how Universal allegedly reduced their licensing rate for Spotify specifically in order to get Not Like Us additional traction, basically allowing them to get a higher profit, which incentivizes the company to push the song further than it was going to go organically. That's what they're trying to portray here.
Fight. I like Kendrick's music. I like Drake's music. I also think both of them have used bots via UMG, whether they knew it or not. What stood out to me in that paperwork was the accusation that UMG lowered their licensing rate by 30% for Not Like Us. Just a quick history lesson. How we even got to the value of what a stream is was based off Spotify and the three majors negotiating on what that value would be. What makes it even crazier is all three majors have actual stock and ownership within Spotify. That would be illegal in any other business in the world, but it's the music industry, so anything can fly. To the point that I worked at a major when Spotify went public, and they emailed all of us as employees and said, you cannot buy stock because that would be insider trading. Now imagine you're an artist and you know that the people that own your music plus the people that distribute your music, which is a whole separate tech company, are in cahoots to define what a dollar means within the music industry. And then you later find out that for one artist and one song, they devalued that dollar. You wouldn't have an issue with it?
All right. So that's Rory with his PSA. And I think once upon a time, I might have actually rolled with what Rory was talking about. I feel like Rory's trying to maintain some level of objectivity as somebody who used to work in the music industry. I know he used to work at labels. He's got label partnerships. He's got his own company and stuff that he's got a couple artists. You know, so I understand where he's coming from. I don't think he's as biased as someone like a Mal. When you look at their podcast, Rory is typically one of the people that will give Mal pushback when it concerns this whole Drake Kendrick Lamar situation and how Mal has basically, you know, gone all in on Drake, put all chips on the table. He's part of the squad now. You know what I'm saying? He's texting and DMing Drake and they having a good time, you know, and he gets updates. If y'all can remember, Rory and Mal knew about the drop and Give Me 50 way like weeks before that came out. So they're privy to inside information, right? However, when he says that if any other business was doing what UMG is doing with Spotify, it would be illegal. So let's just take a look at what UMG and Spotify's relationship is. Just want to be clear with people. I'm not going to give you like the entire history, but I'm just going to give y'all a quick little synopsis, right? I believe Spotify, the first iteration or the tech that went into Spotify, its origins go back to like 2006, 2008, somewhere within that time period, right? So they're figuring out how to put this thing together. They end up going public in the early 2010s. They got all this catalog of music from all these labels, independent artists, everybody, right? It's like the new shit. But people are looking at it like Napster because it's like, yo, we could stream any song that's available, but how is it that artists are going to get paid? And I think Spotify understood if we make this thing relevant enough, the music industry is going to come in and they're going to have to figure out a way that we can legally do this. I think they never had any intentions of like remaining fully independent. So the music industry comes in and they say, yo, you playing all our music. You making this real easy to access, but we don't understand that. We don't understand the business structure behind it. We don't think that this is cool. Y'all gonna have to cut us in on the game, right? Spotify's not the only company that they did this for. Spotify, UMG owns part of Deezer. They own part of SoundCloud. SoundCloud was a big deal too, right? There was once upon a time when all of Drake's non-commercial releases, when he wanted to drop a new freestyle, he wanted to drop a diss track, he wanted to drop something that he wasn't sure was going to work, he used to drop those records on SoundCloud, right? And other artists began to follow suit. Universal said, yo, y'all not finna be dropping free music over here on this platform, bringing all this, all this traction, all these views, all this traffic over here, and we not eating off of that. So they made SoundCloud come to the table, and they got a piece of that pie also. Just understand, if this was illegal, it wouldn't have been allowed, right? But again, if you look at any other business, if somebody is using your proprietary, what you own, somebody's going to come to the table and say, you're going to have to pay me for it. And if the person that's using your shit does not have the money to wire you or pay you out, what you're going to end up doing is saying, hey, I can't pay you a lump sum. I can't afford that. But what I will do is give you equity in my company. Therefore, over time, you'll get paid out what you owe. And we'll just continue to have a business relationship where we both continue to eat. Everything is good. That is business. That's not illegal. Right? So when Universal acquires whatever they acquired in Spotify, and they send out a notice to all of the employees and say, hey, we've now acquired X amount in Spotify, you guys, if you were thinking about purchasing stock in the company, it's no longer on the table, or it'll be insider trading. It's because they now own the company, right? Now, you might be able to still, if you are an employee there, you might still be able to buy shares in Universal. I don't know how that works. But now that we own this company, y'all are privy to data, and that's unfair. And you probably can't even buy stock in the fucking company that you work at, as it pertains to Spotify. I mean, Universal. I don't know how that works. But if they tell you that, because y'all are privy to more information about what they're bringing in and all of this different stuff, I can see that. But monopolies happen. Well, I won't say monopolies because it's not a monopoly. But what it is you're taking content that we own. It's just like Netflix with movies. Netflix came out. They found a way to move Blockbuster out the way. Right? You don't physically have to go pick up these fucking DVDs and VHS tapes no more. All you got to do is log in and we got the shit for you. New Line, Lionsgate, you know what I'm saying? Universal Pictures, all the studios, Hollywood. They said, hey, it's nice that you got this shit available, but you're going to have to cut us in on what this is generating, because if this, what is the value of these people? How many people you got watching this shit? How much time are they spending on this app watching our property? You think you're not going to pay us? Nah, we need in. So there's going to be a licensing rate that's going to make you pay up. And if you can't afford to pay up, then we're going to take part of your company. Now, I don't know what the studios own as it pertains to Netflix. But again, your company can either pay a certain amount or you're going to give up equity. It's just pretty simple. But back to this licensing rate. This is not a Spotify thing. This is the industry at large. Even Apple, even all of the streaming companies. There is what they call a standard rate for licensing, which means that in order for you to use our songs, for us to use your songs, we get 30% off top, because this is basically we're allowing you to promote your content, whatever it is over here. We're putting money behind this. We're putting technology behind this. We're making access to your content much easier than what it was available for before. We got to have something coming in. We got to pay our staff. We got to pay for the cloud space. We got to pay for all of this stuff. We need our cut. So they introduced a 30% licensing rate that the DSPs get to keep off top. This is before artists get paid out. This is before labels get paid out. It's in real time as it generates. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, you name it, they get 30% standard rate off top because you're housing your content there rather than your own proprietary technology, website, app that you can send people to, right? So what Rory and Mal and perhaps Drake are alleging is that in order for Not Like Us, when Not Like Us came to the table, Kendrick presents it to the label, they're alleging that Universal went to Spotify and said, yo, what we got to do to get this song otherworldly? What's going to knock this out the park to a way that it eliminates Drake? And Spotify comes and says, hey, what makes this song any different? Why would we promote it any differently? I mean, it's Kendrick Lamar. He's got a big fan base. Why do you need extra firepower behind this thing? They're like, man, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. We need this song bigger than fucking life. What we got to do? And what they're alleging is that Universal says, you know what? Waive the 30% licensing fee. Right? Whatever y'all are making, we'll make it 60%. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how that even makes sense. It doesn't really make sense, honestly. Waive the 30% licensing fee. Like, what? How? Because that's all they get. So you're basically saying you could take more. But that don't make no sense. Why would Universal not want to make money off of the song in order to promote the song? Who's taking less money on a song? Right? Because these artists put out free songs, or at least they attempted to. And a lot of those songs ended up getting collected on by Universal. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to say that they would reduce their pay rate in order to promote a song. Unless we're talking about what I said the other day with Discovery Mode, which is already a standard thing that you can, if you're an artist on the platform with Spotify, you go into your Spotify artist account, they put it right in front of you and say, hey, would you like to try Discovery Mode? I've literally used it. It's not something that's like super exclusive. Not everybody has access to it. They give you an invite for it, but it's not exclusive to the point where only 2 artists in the world have access to it. It's not that type of thing. So what these niggas are saying does not make any sense. It does not make any sense. Now, what you're basically saying is if Spotify keeps 30% off top, that means that the labels keep 70. Right? So you're saying that UMG went to Spotify and said, no, you could take an additional 30% from our cut? They're going to do that? You're going to do a 60-40 split? I don't see that being a thing. I don't see that being a thing. And are you trying to say that Kendrick was in on this? He gonna accept less money when he's licensing his music to Universal? He's not in a slave deal with Universal for them to be doing this on his behalf and shorting him. So you think Kendrick gonna be cool with niggas taking his money too? You mean to tell me this song is the biggest song of the year, making all this money, but y'all gonna cut my percentage short because y'all want to cut a side deal with these niggas? I don't see Kendrick standing back and taking that. Kendrick, for the better part of his career, has always had a little bit of fuck the industry in him. He played ball enough, made good enough friends in high places to where he can be in the industry, not of it. But he has a lot of fuck the industry in him. I mean, how many rap niggas you know in the 2020 era gonna get on the song and say some shit calling niggas crackers? You know what I'm saying? We've heard, ain't too many niggas, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I remember Plies doing shit like that. I remember it's only a certain couple motherfuckers coming on tracks talking about crackers. So I'm not looking at that like Kendrick's just sitting back accepting that off the love. And in order to allege that Universal is making all this happen, then you're also alleging that Kendrick is complicit in this happening as they take more money from what he's earning. I don't see that being a thing. But that's just me. Let's continue with the show with Math Hoffa and them saying, well, if this wasn't Drake, everybody would be. The fuck is Math on, bro? How you gonna say we don't know that about the DV situation, but then not be willing to say, well, we don't know if Drake possibly could have an illegitimate daughter out there that we don't know about? Like, I think it's very simple to say if both artists lied in they battle in they raps. If both niggas lied, which if you listen to battle rap, you listen to niggas that actually go on stage and battle, 100% of they rounds are lies. But you're still going to base it off of who either had the most compelling lie, the best constructed lie, like, oh God, the way he put that together, the this, the that, I got the big ass gun and it go rah, and he almost fell on the floor when he did it. Like, you're going to judge off of the art that's within it. Like, okay, everybody's lying. Now let's get to the art of it. If that's the lens that you want to look at it through, it's like painful to see people that are willing to accept that Kendrick allegedly lied about this child, but don't want to see that Drake also lied about Kendrick and his family and the dynamic of what's going on in his household. It's weird to me that you can accept one without being open to the other. And they do it in real time, and then they say nobody's moving the goalpost. It's like, dog, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really mad at Math. You know, he's got a platform. It's a good platform. It's growing. It's moving. You know, despite co-hosts leaving, all of the controversy and stuff, he's still pushing. I salute that. But in this moment with this conversation, I just don't understand how it's not registering to him. It's either not registering to people, or you're just so, I don't know if it's emotionally invested. You can't fathom Drake being in a position of weakness and or vulnerability to the fact that he's not dominating music anymore. So it's like, man, if we lose Drake, we finna lose out on vibes. We finna lose out on bops. We finna lose out on, you know, consistently having this guy dropping, you know, chart topping, music that they personally enjoy. I think it's a personal attachment to who Drake is, what he represents, and what his music, for whatever reason, does for them. That they're like, if this nigga gets knocked off his square to the capacity that people are projecting that he can be knocked off, and that we've seen him be knocked off, then it must have, you know what I'm saying? It must have some direct correlation to like them and their experience and how they interact with the world, because Drake represented something. You know, I also understand that Drake has been gracious to the battle rap community. He's come in, he's respected the guys. There was a rumor at one point that he was going to battle on stage with Murda Mook, and that was a big thing. People really thought that was going to happen one day. You know, he's sponsored battles with money to where the winner got good money, got paid well. So I think that people in that community, or even this East Coast centric type of vibe that engages heavily with this community, not to say that it does, that people from other places don't get my words twisted, but this is a culture that's very heavily East Coast promoted. And they see him from the lens of, he fucks with us, he fucks with our community, he fucks with this culture within hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's a different subset from rap music, but it's still within the culture of rapping and hip hop that he comes in, he gives, you know, some carrots, he shows up to some events here and there. We can't let him be removed or make his presence weaker from somebody who doesn't engage with us on that same level. That's what it feels like. That's what it seems like. And there were a lot of battle rappers that were siding with Drake throughout the entire beef, and everybody's open. You know, you can have your opinion, you can have your own interpretation. I don't give a fuck. But again, it just feels weird when you present people with facts and it's just like, stuff just don't seem like they compute. And you know they're more intelligent than what it is that they putting out. Niggas start playing dumb when you make sense too much. I don't like that part of it. I'm gonna let these folks have their little last couple seconds though. Once again, I want to mainly hone in on the fact that Miss Kim Osorio said if it wasn't in the context of the battle losing to Kendrick Lamar and the motivation, that being part of it, Drake would be looked at as doing something astronomical, doing something that would blow up this whole thing and people would rally behind it. I think there's a possibility of that. But if you're trying to, because basically you're trying to discredit the nigga that took you out. And I want to make it very clear for people. Some people ain't going to listen. But within 5 minutes, by the time the song was uploaded on YouTube, and then we're talking YouTube, because that's where I got my notification from when Not Like Us came out. I got my fucking notification from YouTube. From the second niggas heard Mazadanabi Ho, and that nigga went with the flow, and he went with, niggas started looking at the artwork, and niggas understood what was happening within that song. By the time most people heard that song, within 5 minutes of that song hitting the net, the consensus was knockout blow. Nobody was looking at the numbers. Nobody was looking at how many people streamed it. Nobody was looking at how many views the fucking audio upload had on YouTube as a metric of, oh my God, this is why it's over. The song was instantly being played in venues. Now you got Drake fans saying, well, it doesn't take too much for Kendrick and his team or Universal to pay these venues to instantly play the song when it drops. So now they saying that the venues and the hookah lounges and the places, the functions were tipped off. They were tipped off about a surprise release. Who the fuck releases music on a Sunday? Why would Sunday even be the day to drop the shit for venues? You know what I'm saying? Like, certain shit just don't be making sense. In fucking late spring, early summer. Ain't no football going on. Ain't nothing that important happening on a Sunday that's gonna drive people out. It just was organic. And they can't accept it. It's weird. It's the craziest shit in the world. And if Drake really had an issue with UMG and felt like they had been robbing him for years, felt like they were lowballing him, why was he so happy just 2 years ago? What changed? Right? Did Lucian, because Lucian came out and said Drake has unlimited budget. Whatever Drake wants, Drake gets. He's captured on video saying this. So what changed in the last 2 years? What changed in the last 6 to 8 months? More specifically, because it seemed like he was very happy in his situation, allegedly. But now it's been brewing for a long time. Now he's gonna blow up the industry with a $2 billion lawsuit. He's about to audit all of the companies and all of the money moving around. He's about to be the whistleblower, the biggest whistleblower of music history. He needs to be viewed in the same spectrum of Michael Jackson and Prince as niggas that went against the system. But he had fulfilled his contract in 2022 and could have went independent, and whatever he dropped since then could have been all his. See, I don't understand. The nigga had 13 years of experience. He had been getting robbed from day one. From the day Jazz Prince looked him in the eye and said, I want to work with you, he was being robbed. And every opportunity he had to be his own person, he didn't do it. He tried to cut Jazz and Aspire out of the deal. Signed directly with Cash Money. Cut his homies out. All right, I'm going to go do this. Fulfilled his contract over there. Created his own label. Got his own label deal. Once that contract was fulfilled, he said, all right, we dropping Cash Money. We dropping Young Money. I'm cutting them niggas out too. All right. It's OVO Republic. Okay, bet. You fulfill your contracts, you move on. But does it take for every nigga to reveal that they robbing you before you leave? What, was everybody putting it off on the next man? Jazz, I think you're robbing me. Nah, it's Wayne. All right, bet. Wayne, you robbing me. Nah, it's Baby. All right, bet. I'm cut Wayne out. Cut Stunner out. Baby, you robbing me. It's Universal, Playboy. It's Universal? Yeah, Playboy. They been robbing all three of y'all. Okay, bet. Go to Universal. I want out. I threaten, because I think he did threaten to leave. Because there was some people out there that was in the industry talking Drake might leave Universal. He could be the biggest independent artist in the, you know what I'm saying? I remember this being a conversation. I made a video talking about it. I made a video talking about the rumors of him possibly being the biggest independent artist in the game. I also made a video talking about the $400 million deal he ended up signing instead of going independent. Right? That wasn't at that time, I wasn't getting views, but I made videos about it. My production value wasn't all that great, but I talked about it. So as somebody who's been paying attention to this saga, I can't see where we're supposed to have this sympathy for Drake, where he's blowing up a $2 billion deal for himself. It's not for the industry. It's for himself. And you're throwing your competitor under the bus for whooping your ass in the midst of it. Like, I just don't see how we're supposed to champion that when you've had every opportunity to go and you still don't. And now they're saying he's asking for $600 million. So it's not like he's trying to literally get out the deal. Now, some people may say, nah, Nolan, Drake wants, he's talking 600 million or 2 billion because he knows if he puts pressure on Universal, rather than allowing all the books to be open and all of the missing money and all of the underhanded schemes and all this, the discretionary funds that got to be explained and all this stuff, rather than let the feds, because this is a civil RICO, whether, I don't know if that's on a state level or federal, but rather than allow them to comb through everything, they're going to settle with Drake. They're going to give him, let's say if he doesn't get $2 billion, they may give him that 6 he's asking for, or maybe he gets gets 800 million, and then they cut ties with him and he can retire from music. Y'all really see that happening? Y'all really think this plays out like that? Or do y'all think the paperwork gangsters of all paperwork gangsters say, come check this shit out? All right? You accusing us of bots? Okay. Well, let's look at Kendrick Lamar. Let's look at his documents. Let's look at Drake. Let's look at his documents. Let's look at what we invested in each artist. Let's look at the returns we've received from each artist. Do you see foul play on either one? Because I believe if they have been using bots, then everybody would have similar looking data to where it's either going to be everybody's been botted or nobody's been botted on paper. So I don't see the win for Drake. But I do think he sees the end is near. And again, when I say the end, I don't mean the end of him being a relevant artist. But he sees the end is near of his run. He sees the end is near in terms of him being the most popular, him being the biggest, him being revered at a certain level. All comparisons to Hove are over. All comparisons to anyone that he's outsold, All of that is done. His name, his reputation, his legacy is stained. And if you continue to love Drake beyond that, that's your prerogative. You may not see him as stained, but that's also being oblivious to the truth. Because to be honest, if you're going to love a nigga through it all, you should be able to acknowledge, yeah, this nigga done for, but I'm still rolling. That's what I would do. If I'm rolling with a nigga till the wheels fall off, I don't give a fuck if that nigga's done for. I'm rolling, bitch. Broken car, fixed up car. If we got to go to the mechanic with the motherfucking, with the fucked up beanie hat and a cigarette, we just gonna have to stop over there and get this motherfucker. Hey, we getting back on the road. I don't care. Be that person. Don't be oblivious to the truth. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the nigga come pick your ass up in a busted goddamn 06 Impala. Shout out to the 06 Impalas. And hop in that bitch and act like it's a Maybach. Just say, nigga, we riding in this motherfucking 06 Impala. Nigga, fuck y'all niggas. I can respect that. But again, when people try to piss on you and tell you it's rain, I can't go for it. As a thinking person, as somebody who knows a nice bit about the music industry, not everything, but a nice bit, I just don't see where he's legitimate in his claims unless he's willing to completely desecrate everything he's accomplished. Because if you're the one with more number ones than Michael Jackson and we reveal that you had bot play in achieving that, then we got to Barry Bonds you. We got to strip you of that home run record. We got to Mark McGuire you. We have to erase your records. Yes, it's on film. Yes, we remember it happened, but it means nothing. Your Hall of Fame speech is no longer valid. And if Drake is willing to do all of that, be my guest. But I'm pretty much assuming he's not willing for it to go both ways. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. I will say, if by some strange, twist or turn in reality, Drake ends up coming out on top, I will admit I'm wrong. I have no problem admitting, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't see it. I'll admit. But we have to see it happen. All right? I'm going to catch y'all later. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, king of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like Soldier Rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.